What's up, guys? It's time for me to make my first Big Brother 26 video of the season. Let's get into it. We got double eviction. Before I talk about the house guests in the game, I gotta talk about the house guests that were already evicted. So let's start off with Matt. Now, do I agree with the way how Angela handled her HOH? Absolutely not. Calling Matt out in front of the house, calling him crazy eyes. That was bad. That being said, Matt going to going to Chelsea, Joseph, Kenny outside, saying that Angela would put him up and he was worried about that wasn't a good strategic decision because Joseph ran back to Angela and told Angela everything that Matt had said. Not only that, but Angela tried to, extend an olive branch. She tried to work with him. And Matt basically said, you know what? If I win HOH next week and you put me up, you better believe you're going up. And that was not a smart move on Matt's end. If I were Matt, I would have accepted the olive branch. I would have told Angela, hey, I want to work with you. I wouldn't have even said anything. Just agree to it, shake on it, and hopefully you're chilling. But Matt didn't do that. And I think Matt, he overplayed a little bit. He was too big of a threat for the house guests to also pass up having him on the block week one. So Matt's eviction in week one didn't come as a surprise considering the way he played. Next up, we got Lisa. And I give Lisa credit for staying true to herself, but putting glitter in people's food, that was her worst game move. And it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It rubbed Tucker the wrong way especially. And once she lost that AI arena, I knew her game was in jeopardy. Tucker worked really hard that week to get Chelsea to put Lisa on the block and to secure the votes to get Lisa out of the game. So obviously she got evicted in week 2. Next up, we got Kenny. Now, Kenny showed potential as a competitor, but Kenny was just checked out of the game once he hit the nomination block in week 1. He didn't want to go home all the time, but whenever he touched the block, which he did each and every single week, he questioned why he was there. He really missed his family, and I can't blame Kenny for missing his family, but dude, you know what you signed up for, playing Big Brother. And I think Kenny dropped the ball a little bit. That being said, I don't think Kenny would have won the game, and him leaving in 3rd place is better than him obviously staying for an extended period of time, wishing he could be with his family, and then wasting unnecessary time in jury. So at least Kenny got to see his family. 4, we got Cedric. And Cedric was my favorite player of the season. Cedric impressed me with the way he was playing this game. He started the collective. He was in the 3C alliance that eventually turned into the Pentagon alliance. He had really strong relationships. The first problem in Cedric's game was when Tucker won the veto, heard about Quinn's power app, and wanted to backdoor Quinn. Cedric told Tucker, use the veto on yourself. Tucker didn't listen, and Cedric instantly became a threat. But even after that, Cedric was okay. Quinn used this deepfake HOH. Cedric volunteered. And at that current juncture in time, I can see Cedric's logic. Play in the veto. You get a chance to play in the AI arena. And even if you don't win either one of those, you still have the votes because you got the collective on your side. But Cedric, volunteering to go on the block is a tough thing to do. I understand scaring money don't make money. But boy, Quinn ain't going to put you on the block. You're safe. You're in 3 alliances with him. You're in the collective. You're in the Pentagon. You're in the QC alliance. That's a fake final too. But Quinn's loyal to it to a certain degree. And Cedric put himself on the block. It was just, once he lost that AI comp and Mackenzie won it, sitting next to Rubina, the shot for T-Core and Chemo was obvious. Cedric was a better competitor. He's in the Pentagon. He's more loyal to Cam, Chelsea, and Brooklyn than he is to them. It was just an obvious decision. Unfortunately for Cedric, he had to go home. At 5, we got Brooklyn, and I thought Brooklyn was playing an unbelievable game. But once Cedric got evicted, her cards were shown. T-Core and Chemo didn't want to work with her. She told Rubina that she was going home, and Rubina stayed in the game. Tucker won the HOH. He saw that Brooklyn was being shady because she had the Pentagon and she had the 5 Points Alliance. She was playing both sides, and that's really where her game fell apart. She's a good player, good strategist, but that's the thing with Big Brother. Once you get exposed, it's hard to come back from. At 6, we got the most entertaining player of the season by far. This is a guy that kept all of us on the edge of our seats, and that is Tucker. And I really wish Tucker made it further in the game. The house hasn't been the same since his eviction. That being said, Tucker overplayed his hand. Volunteering to go on the block when Chelsea was HOH, when Cedric was HOH, when T-Core was HOH. There is no need to volunteer in the first place. And once he had won 6 competitions, the moment he didn't win the veto or the AI comp, or if he had stayed in the house and the AI comp had expired, and the first chance a backdoor came into play, I knew Tucker was going to be in danger. Because you can't sit next to the end against a guy that keeps winning everything. He brought so much entertainment. He really likes puzzles. Him using the veto on Angela was such an iconic moment. He also really likes biscuits. Tucker will definitely get a chance to be on other reality TV shows, but I think he should have just tried to tone down his personality a little bit. Definitely not volunteer, and he could have been in a better spot. Next up, we got Joseph. And Joseph played a low-key game. He thought he was playing a Dr. Will game. That wasn't the case. I think if Joseph had played a little bit more aggressively, he could have had a better shot. Maybe not of winning the game, but certainly going further. And I think he really fumbled the bag with Chelsea the final week, fumbled the bag with Angela. There's a lot of bad game moves Joseph made in his final week that he didn't even realize he was making. So that's why Joseph was evicted. Now we're going to talk about the players that are in the jury house. Quinn is a guy that I picked to win the season, and I felt that way because he was a super fan. He knew the show better than everyone else. I thought he would be a decent competitor, and I thought he would realize when to make big moves, how to keep his mouth shut. I still believe Quinn has a tremendous amount of potential as a player, and I stand by my pick at the beginning of the season. But Quinn telling Angela and Chemo about his power, him telling Chemo and T-Core about the Pentagon, him putting up Cedric, putting up Joseph, people that he had final twos with. There are just so many missteps in Quinn's game that ultimately led to his demise. If he had just kept his mouth in check, and stayed loyal to the people that he was loyal to, Quinn could have been a very great player. Quinn would have had a shot to win this thing. I truly believe that. But Quinn fumbled the bag, and that's why he was the first member of the jury. Next up, we got T-Core. And T-Core played a really good social game, but I think her strategic game and her competitive game ultimately would have prevented her from winning Big Brother. Strategically, when she was HOH, she didn't want to get her hands dirty. When Tucker volunteered to go on the block as a pawn, she put him up as a pawn. I think that was a terrible strategic decision for T-Core's game because Tucker wasn't gunning for her. And I know Tucker volunteered and she didn't want to get her hands dirty and she wanted to keep peace in the house, but this is Big Brother. You got to make big moves. And the moment Tucker was taken out on her HOH, it left her, Chemo, and Rubina vulnerable because those three aren't necessarily seen as big-time competitors. Last week, Leah pegged her as the biggest target of that trio, and therefore, she was evicted. Now we're going to talk about the players left in the house. But before I go through these players individually, I'll just go through them as their respective duos, with the exception of the player that I have at the number 1 spot. So, let's talk about the duo of Angela and Leah. I think Leah made a huge mistake not taking Chelsea out last week as HOH. But I can't blame her for the move because T-Core, Chemo, and Rubina were an obvious trio. I could see the logic in Leah's move. I just don't think it was the right move. Angela has been all over the place, and I never know what to expect from her. She is entertaining, but she's also crazy. I mean, I can't put my finger on her. Does she have a chance of winning this game? I doubt it because I don't think anyone's going to want to sit next to her. The only person that would have taken her to the end would be Leah, and I think Leah is going to get evicted this week. So Angela is facing an uphill battle. That being said, I wouldn't mind seeing Angela win an HOH, potentially doing something crazy. I want Angela to survive this double eviction. Do I think she will? Probably not, but just for entertainment purposes, Angela, you gotta stay in the game. Next up, we got the duo of Chemo and Rubina. And I think Chemo is more of a gamer than Rubina. That being said, Chemo can't win competitions. I think Chemo is gonna get sniped out at the Final 5, the Final 4. He's just an easier target than Rubina is. Rubina, on the other hand, hasn't won anything. She's a little bit more likable, and I think the fact that she's easier to beat will keep her in the game longer than Chemo, but does she have a chance to win the game? No. And next up, we got Mackenzie and Cam. I think both of those people are Chelsea's puppets. Cam has kind of played a game where he's close with everybody, everyone's chill with him, but he has floated. He hasn't made any big strategic decisions other than shouting out his dogs at the crib. I don't know what Cam has done in this game to justify a $750,000 vote. Now, if he is sitting next to Chelsea, or if he is sitting next to Mackenzie in the final 2 chairs, does he have a chance? Maybe because of a bitter jury. He hasn't really pissed people off, but should Cam win the game? No. Mackenzie, I think, really fumbled the bag this week with her HOH. Putting up Leah was not a good strategic move. If she had taken out Chemo and Rubina, she has Leah, Angela, willing to go after Cam and Chelsea. She has Cam and Chelsea, willing to go after Leah and Angela. If she wants to make a smarter move, she goes after Chelsea because Chelsea's playing the best game. Obviously, she has a final 2 with Chelsea. She doesn't want to do that. I understand that. But then the next logical move would be to take Angela out, because if you keep your nominations the same, take Angela out. Leah's still loyal to you. You guys are cooking because she doesn't have anyone else to go to. Chemo and Rubina want Leah out of the game. Cam and Chelsea want Leah out of the game. All eyes aren't on you. I think there's a chance that if Angela is somehow safe, let's just say, for the sake of argument, Chemo or Rubina win this next HOH, which is unlikely, but they put up Mackenzie and Angela wins the veto, or something crazy happens, or Chemo and Rubina can control the vote and send Mackenzie home, there's a chance Mackenzie could go home, and I don't think Cam and Chelsea would be opposed to sending Mackenzie home prior to the final 3. I think she made a monumental mistake, and I really hope she regrets it because that was a terrible, terrible decision. But the player that I have as the number 1 spot is obviously Chelsea. Chelsea, from week 2, I thought she had a really good chance of winning the game. She was in the Pentagon. She was in the collective. She had close relationships with Mackenzie, T-Core, Chemo, Rubina, players that weren't necessarily, connected with people in the She was so well insulated for early on in the game. Cedric is a player that I thought played really well, but he had to make those relationships. I thought Chelsea already had those relationships from the jump. But there was a moment in the game where it looked like Chelsea lost control of things when her allies, Cedric and Brooklyn, went out back-to-back. But since Tucker's eviction, she has played very well, and she has basically had complete control of this house. Her taking out Quinn is a huge move that she can say to the jury if she makes it to the final two. Her taking out Tucker is the biggest move of the season. And with the way how things are trending, I think Chelsea is in a position where nobody in the house will nominate her in this double eviction, with the exception of Angela. That's kind of why I want Angela to win, because I want things to be spicy. I don't necessarily want the puppet master or the mastermind of the season or the best player of the season to have an easy path to the end and coast. I do respect the game that Chelsea's playing, and I do like her to a certain degree. I respect the fact that she's playing well. She is playing hard, and she deserves to win. But I want entertainment. I want there to be unpredictability, and I hope we get that in this double, and I hope we get that for the remaining part of the season. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you like this video. Be sure to smash that thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys.